I know you can kind of tell my background is a mess. It's because I am actually going to finish cleaning up this horrible mess of a room. But there might be a Mandalorian Amazon exclusive unboxing later. So I guess stay tuned for that. Don't know if that's coming today, but it should be coming this week for sure. It's supposed to show up today. In fact, the Amazon order says it's supposed to ship out to or show up today, but I don't know for sure. But it'd be nice to have a Mandalorian. That goes along with that. Which actually wouldn't go along with that pretty well, but I'm just saying it'd be cool to have a Mandalorian for once in my collection. Because I actually don't have any Mandalorian stuff except that Corel pop. You know, the guy who's like, I have spoken. So. Anyways, I finished Clone Wars Season 3, and excuse my voice, because I'm still, like, clogged up and still kind of sick. So, yeah, I apologize for my Simpsons Season 7 review, because I was not well during that video, and you could just hear it in my voice really bad. But now I'm a little bit better, I would say, but not completely. It still sounds like my normal voice a little bit, just a little bit more clogged up. So that's just what I'm going to say about that. So yeah, I mean, that's what I'm going to say about that. But I've reviewed every single season of Rebels and Clone Wars, so if you're interested in checking those out, you can. I actually recommend that you do if you're interested. Some of my favorite reviews of my channel have all been Star Wars related, so I try to put my hardest into my reviews of Star Wars, because Star Wars is my jam. Whether I have been more negative of it as of lately, but that's just because the movies and some of the other things to come out of the Star Wars franchise have not been that great, except for The Mandalorian. And I guess I enjoyed The Rise of Skywalker, but still wasn't that great. So, you know. But, Clone Wars is a good show. I liked the first season. I'm going to kind of just do a little recap of what I thought of the first season and the second season. The first season was okay. Just a lot of poor animation quality, not that many interesting stories. Season 2 was a little bit of an upgrade from that, but it introduced my favorite character, Cad Bane, had some interesting stories. Not that much. I think Season 3 is more of both those seasons combined. Half of the season, the first half of the season, is quite poor, with a lot of boring, non-interesting stories, and then you get to Rebels, or not Rebels, and then you get to the second half of the season, then interesting stuff happens. Like we get introduced to the Night Sisters, and we get introduced to just all kinds of cool characters, the Night Sisters. We get hints that Darth Maul will come back, and spoilers, obviously he does, because that is the most well-known aspect of the show, is that Darth Maul returns. That's why he showed up in Rebels and in the Solo at the end of that movie. I guess spoilers for that movie, but I mean, if you saw it, you did. So, I mean, I feel like by now, if you haven't seen Solo and you wanted to, what are you waiting for? Like, it's not that great of a movie, but like, I mean, it's one of those movies, by now you should have already seen it. It's like, I don't know. But I do like that storyline. And so, you know, I don't know. I think it's a cool part that, you know, I like seeing Asajj Ventress' character a little bit more in this season, which we get to see a lot more of. We get to see more of her dark past. In the episode The Night Sisters, which is a fantastic episode. I mean, it is like, they tell so much with not even that much words, dialogue, and they really show stuff to you. I mean, that's kind of the difference between Rebels and Clone Wars. Rebels is more of a story-driven show, and Clone Wars is more of a character-driven show with little one-off side stories. But these episodes are good because they do come back. Some of them come back into play later, but also they're just really interesting. Because, I mean, Rebels has Sabine, right? Sabine doesn't really change all that much as a character throughout Rebels. I know a lot of Rebels fans will try to argue with me about that, but it's true. She doesn't change throughout the course of Rebels. In fact, she changed more as a character off screen than she did in the actual show. So they have episodes that pretend to develop her character. She doesn't change. She doesn't become a better character, stuff like that, right? But then you look at Asajj Ventress, and what I was always saying about Sabine is a lot of her episodes should show what she's gone through and not just tell us about it, you know? And they do that. They tell us about that crap, and they don't show us. Well, with Asajj Ventress, they show us. They show us what her backstory is. And they don't even use that much detail. They don't even take like a full 5-10 minutes. They just take like a minute or two. They show us some images of her past. Great. Now I know everything about her past without her even saying anything, really. You just kind of see it. And it's great. And I like that stuff. But like, it's not in Rebels, and that's why I was kind of disappointed by Rebels compared to this show. I think Rebels is an easier to watch show because it's such a little fun adventure show, I guess. But like, Clone Wars is the better show because it actually makes you think. It actually makes you interested in what's going to happen, and it actually changes the Star Wars movies in a way that makes it better. Like, Rebels has that episode where Sabine saves Wedge Antilles, and it's like, okay, but what does that add? It's just, oh, I guess she saved up. I guess these Rebels characters were involved with the original Star Wars movies more than we thought. But it's like, I mean, that doesn't add anything to it because they're not in those movies. Right? But this show develops Obi-Wan and Anakin and adds to these characters. Especially with characters like Ahsoka. Which Ahsoka is a cool idea. Right? Anakin as an apprentice. Which is a great idea. I freaking love that idea and it's well done. And I like this show. So yeah, I mean, great show. And this isn't my favorite season. I think this is probably, I don't know, it's kind of hard to say. It is probably my favorite, but since half of it's okay and the other half's really good, it's kind of hard to say. But we'll see. Yeah, I'm hoping to get through the show by the end of March or May or April or whenever, but I'm on season 4 now, which is a good sign because it means that I really could just skip around. Which that's what I've been doing. I didn't actually watch every single episode in the season. I kind of watched enough of the episodes where I could get, you know, an idea of how the season is. And yeah, I mean, I like the season, but just, I don't know. There's a lot of episodes that were boring and not interesting. And there's some fanficky episodes, like that episode with the kind of like, I don't know, that weird family that's like the chosen one. I don't know, it was just weird and boring. I didn't care for that one. But yeah,